What is the number one mistake people make when starting therapy? Mended Light.
Oh, man. There's only one?
Well, what's the number one? What's the number one?
Okay. So here's the thing. People internalize their experiences. They interpret them through the lens of judgment, and then they come to the conclusion that they are broken. So this even deeper attaches their worth and identity to their experiences. So here's the thing. You aren't broken, and you don't need fixing. You're hurt, and you need healing. And that is a huge difference.
Right. So I have a clip to illustrate this exact point. This is from the movie Thunderbolts. It's a Marvel movie. It came out earlier this year. I love this. This is a team of anti-heroes and former villains who are trying to reform. And every character in this movie, in some way or another, is filled with self-loathing because of the things they've done. Because none of them are truly bad. They all have consciences, but they feel awful about themselves.
Oh my goodness.
And one character, his name is Bob. He is sweet and he is innocent, but he had childhood abuse when he was growing up. And he was taken advantage of and manipulated and used his whole life to the point where he feels broken and worthless and they should just leave him behind.
Wow.
We get to a point in the film where Bob's self-loathing manifests as a separate being called the Void.
Oh, are you serious?
So it's like shadow work. Actually, you love shadow work. Shadow work, making friends with the dark and quote-unquote unlovable parts of yourself. Yeah. Bob's shadow becomes literal.
I call it making friends with the rejected parts of yourself. Because for years, people would be like, oh, shadow work. And I'm like, I'm such a literal person. I'm like, okay, like I get it, but I don't feel like I fully get it. Yeah. And that sentence of like, oh, I rejected this part of myself because it was safe to be that. It was unsafe. It was unsafe to be that way. Or I was told directly or indirectly, being fill in the blank made me unlovable.
Yes.
And we all have that.
Right? So in the scene we're going to watch, they're in a place called the Void. It's Bob's psyche where everyone is trapped and dealing with the parts of themselves that they're ashamed of.
Yeah.
And now Bob is going to literally attack himself with self-loathing and hatred while everyone is trapped watching him do it. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so while Jonna pulls up this clip, I'm just going to share a little behind the scenes. We have a nickname for Jonna.
Super Clip.
And I was like, we were figuring out a plan of how we were going to do all the things we needed, and he's like, I got a clip for this, like on the fly. And I'm like, that is not a skill that
Speaking
I
of
could
superheroes,
cultivate.
Super Clip. Okay, here we go. So he's literally attacking himself, the parts of himself that he hates. But it's not self-compassion. It's the very opposite.
Is that all you got?
Well, and the fear and the lack of safety.
And everyone here knows what he's doing because they've done it to themselves.
This isn't right.
Bob, stop!
The lack
This
of
is
hope.
what you want!
The way that darkness overtakes you, the more you give into self-hatred, the more it consumes you and becomes what guides everything. So this is Yelena, and she, the whole movie, has seemingly been the person who hates herself the most.
So she broke those bonds.
Yeah.
To go help, of herself, to go help
She
Bob.
knows exactly what he's feeling.
Yeah.
I'm here.
It'll always be just us.
So that co-regulation, that finding safety in a safe relationship when you haven't had the chance to cultivate it.
I'm here. You're not alone.
Okay, so Bob's very human, very understandable. I don't even like to use the word mistake here, but it is assuming that he's broken. Is assuming that he needs fixing. In fact, the whole movie, that's what he's in. That's why he lets people manipulate him, use him, experiment on him, is because he's like, I'm trash. Please fix me. Please fix me. Please fix me. And this is something we talk about a lot. About traditional therapy approaches are we diagnose what's wrong with you and we try and fix you, instead of you're hurting and you need healing. You're not broken and need fixing. You're hurting and you need healing. And because Bob is hurting, he lashes out at himself. Yeah. Right? Because he's a sweet guy and he doesn't lash out at others, he internalizes it and lashes out at himself.
Right. And that personality type, which is one of your core personality types
Healer.
that you lead with, like that is your gift and it is your growth opportunity. Yeah. Right? It's like I care so much and they internalize and judge themselves the harshest. I feel like they all come up from a place of judgment instead of a place of understanding of, hey, and almost all of this comes from childhood of I had some challenge, whatever it may be in childhood. Here was my coping mechanism to keep me safe. And usually it goes along with our personality type. And we don't have time to go deep into what this has looked like for you and I, but we share that a lot in a lot of other videos of, hey, here's the way I kept myself safe. Here's how I tried to earn worth and belonging and acceptance. We take those same behaviors into adulthood, and then we get to a midlife unraveling quite often, where we spend at least a decade, 2 decades of adulthood in those same behaviors, and we don't feel supported. We don't feel safe. We don't feel fulfilled because we're tying our worth and our acceptance and our belonging to things outside of ourselves, to an identity. And who am I if I fill in the blank? Right. And while the details are different for all of us, the journey is the same.
Well, you were talking about judgment, and going back to the clip, this is the reason why he's pounding on himself is because of the judgment, the self-loathing, the self-hatred. Because I'm struggling, that means I'm weak. Because I've made mistakes, that means I'm bad. Instead of, I made choices based on my fear, I made choices based on my pain, and I didn't know how to do something more supportive, or I didn't have the strength to do something more supportive. And so what is the number one mistake that people make when starting therapy? It's assuming that they're broken. It's assuming that they're bad, instead of looking at themselves as essentially good, and as essentially full of worth and value, and just needing healing. And so there's different paths for this. I mean, in this clip, we see 2 things. One, as you were saying, the need of community, the need of people who see you. To give you what Carl Rogers calls unconditional positive regard, and what Dr. Greg Bear calls the wise men and wise women who just see you and give you real love. To surround yourself with those type of people, but then also to give it to yourself. To recognize that there is no darkness in you that needs fixing. There is darkness in you that comes from pain, and comes from hurt or comes from fear, and that can be healed. And shifting that mindset is everything, because then you're not approaching therapy with a sense of overwhelm or it's hopeless. Instead, you're approaching therapy with, I love me, and so I want to take care of me. Now, I watch this clip and I see them all loving him and embracing him, and that's what pulls him back from the brink. And if that really spoke to you, where you show up to one group session, where we go over personality types.
And worth ties. All the things we've been talking about.
And you learned about who you are and how to connect with others based on what they value. And you're going to do this in a setting where you're surrounded by people who are supportive and in a similar boat as you. So that's something that we're offering for free for you to try. Link is right here on screen and in the description. Have you wrestled with self-loathing or the feeling that you are broken? Share your experience in the comments below and what has been helpful for you. And until next time, folks, keep shining.
We need your light.